Okay. We're back. Yeah, I'm going to just let y'all know I'm in Vegas right now. Y'all see this Raider hat. You know what I'm saying? That's it. I'm just supporting the people that fuck with me. That's all.
No question.
Man,
they did David Carr dirty, though.
It's all right.
It's a whole nother subject.
It's all right. They did a lot of us dirty. So one of them versus a lot of us, it's not balanced yet, but we're going to live with it. But, yo, I want to say thank you for coming. You know what I'm saying? And joining us. Keep liking, subscribing, sharing. You know what I'm saying? This is Chris Gotti Lorenzo, my partner Don Dinero.
Que vola, Mr. Money for the Gringo.
Yeah, que vola. And this is Givin Them The Business. And I want to give a great, warm welcome to my Chi-Town brother. You heard? Malik Yusef is with us today. Yes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I want to thank you first and foremost for coming. I know you flew in for this, and I appreciate it. I'm going to shout out my boy Troy. You know what I'm saying? Them Carters is everywhere, and he reached out and said he could get this line, and I said, let's go.
Man, yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Troy
Call
Carter.
my man Quan, and we here.
Yeah, he a real dude.
Yeah, definitely. So I wanted to just get right to it. And again, I wanted the people to start hearing a little bit about exactly who Malik Yusef, where you started from Chicago, South Side, am I right?
Yes, sir.
South Side of Chicago, and how you got started into, let's say, first things first. If you was to put it in chronological order, where would you start in your career? In your walk of life, because I know it's a lot, it's extensive, and we're going to talk about as many things as you want to talk about.
Yes, sir. I think I've always had like the desire to be creative.
Yeah.
I remember when we used to go see my Uncle Skippy in the penitentiary. He was in Stateville, and we used to get ready to go visit him. I think we go like once or maybe twice a month. And from what I understood of being in the system was that you couldn't have access to your money.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my big brother, Earl, he was a really good artist. We would make money, like on notebook paper. We would make money, use our green crayon all the way, the silver crayon. We would draw the money and have it with us, proud as we could be to get us to him. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And it was a very strange thing to feel that this person who was so powerful was powerless to control his own interactivity with his family.
Right.
And that was like one of my earliest memories of like the power dynamic and dynamism in the United States of America.
Mm.
You know,
the incarceration.
The incarceration piece.
And what it did to these families.
Mm-hmm.
Separation, taking the father out the home.
No question.
You know, they talk about the young generation all the time, and I'm always in supportive of these young kids now coming up. And the main reason is because I also understand they took away a generation or two of men in these communities, so they can't be raised properly, if you understand. You know?
Not just men, the men that wasn't going to stand for the status quo and wasn't going to go along to get along, the men that was assertive and aggressive and earners.
Yes.
They took those specific men.
Them leaders.
Protectors and providers.
Exactly. They targeted that group of men. It was a really sinister trap.
And the crazy thing about it is when you remove the dad and leave the mom as a single mom,
I was just going to
the
get
likelihood of the son joining the dad
70%. 70%.
Listen, there's an interesting statistic that they put out, and it's crazy because we're dads, right? So, we're dads. We're present in our kids' life, always have been.
That's right.
So there's a number that says that when there's a mom and a dad in a home, the likelihood of boys, because we're talking
about boys, yeah.
Going to prison is like 2%. It's like nothing. When it's mom and dad at home. When it's just mom,
mother,
it's like 90%.
Come on, man.
But listen to this. Now I'm gonna crush you. When it's just dad, it goes back down to 2%. So what it's saying is the father in the home is the most important element. Not that mom isn't. But let me tell you right now, and I'm gonna keep it a buck. There's a lot of moms raising killers right now.
I don't want to say 2%. It's 70%.
There's numbers.
I know the numbers. I understand. I don't want you to put out misinformation.
No, I don't want to put out
But
misinformation.
it's 70%. The number is 70.
That's fucking insane.
Insane. For a single mom versus a single father.
The numbers between a single dad and a mom and a dad,
night and day.
They're right there.
Yeah.
Compared to
as
just
a single father,
mom.
exactly.
So what the statistics are saying, there are a lot of single moms raising killers right now, and a lot of these young kids that are running around have just their mom, right? So the part that you're saying, just to interact, the removing the father out of the home, I think, has been the key element, continues to today. Where even I told my daughter just had, and we tell this to our daughter, I told my daughter, it's okay to be a great wife. And we teaching our daughters to be independent and be, that's okay. But you're teaching them not to have a man in the family.
It's weird. We're the only race that, the black race, that we have a strong black woman.
Right.
A strong, independent black woman. That's what I'm saying. The strong, like you don't hear a strong, independent white woman, Chinese woman. You don't hear that with no other race. And there's a reason why, and that's, I believe, is really why they created that and put it in our black women's mind that this is what it should be, when it really, they should be the matriarch of a family. Again, they could build careers and businesses. I'm not trying to belittle them and say they can't do those things. It just, statistics is proven when they do those things by themselves is very difficult. They need that man factor inside of their home. They need it. And you know, there's also the statistics that they're the first to get divorced. They're the ones that file for divorce, the woman, the female. And they have to understand that men really do stick it out. You know, I was gonna get right back. I was gonna get right back, but these are real facts that go into this whole thing, and the dynamic of what you just mentioned. We're going to see, you know, your family member incarcerated and seeing that, and I'm sure you see the effect of that in your family.
No question. And I mean, just to lean into that a little bit, it goes back to, you know, American chattel slavery as well, where the man was not allowed to be a protector under the penalty of death. So the woman had to make a decision. Do you want your man to be a protector and take up for you, or do you want him to exist? Because both are not going to exist.
We're not letting that happen.
They're not letting both happen. We're not going to let you be here with her and protect her. She can have you, but she can have the bare minimum portions of you. And nobody remembered to tell the little girl looking at this that wasn't the way natural things happen. This is a very unnatural situation that people are held in bondage under government contracts with penalty of death from the United States military and any other person who chose to be involved in that person's life.
Right.
I could, if I was in, you know, back in during the times of the enslavement, a random kid could dominate me by law and say, hey, you can't be over there, move around. So that's what happened. And nobody forgot to turn the switch off. And nobody remembered to turn the switch off and say, hey, little girls, that was not how black men really are.
We're going to come this is going to come full circle. I know by the time of your end of your timeline, we're coming right back to this. That's why it's so important to talk about it.
It is. And it's hurtful because
it's super hurtful.
It's the programming, how they program the kids. Like we all, you know, every child is born innocent.
No question.
And what they see and what they hear and what they taste.
They say the first 7 years is what we all took.
Every first 7 years.
The first 7 years for all
So
children.
imagine the first 7 years you don't have that relationship, or you only see your dad come out the fields at night and you're grinding and your mom's being raped, and imagine that through years and years, and then you have kids in the same, of course.
And you're going to pass that same information down to survive. And sometimes you got to understand, it's not just always physical survival, it's emotional survival too. How do I survive this experience, the traumatic experience, from an emotional standpoint? So you have to toughen yourself. And we've seen our women having to toughen themselves and toughen themselves and toughen themselves so that they they can't even remember how to go back to the maternal instincts and the matriarchal aspect, like you mentioned, and the nurturing. And then we come and demand it from them.
Even the submissive aspect of being a woman is hard.
Exactly.
You know that
it's very difficult,
right? That's the part. That be
Well, I mean, I don't even
use a man finds a submissive woman, he's gonna keep her.
But I don't even use the word submissive because it's really we just want nurturing and femininity.
Yes.
But we're demanding it from them without unlocking the things that have forced them to build these calluses.
Yes.
So when we touch their hand, we touching the roughness of their hands because they had to work and hold their own weapons for so very long.
That's a great way to put it.
And the women today, their ancestors, right? And we trying to find it, we call it el arrastre, like that whole spiritual aspect of the suffering of your ancestors gets passed along.
No question. It's in the blood memory.
Yes,
It's in the blood memory. It's in the hemoglobin information. Yes. The DNA. You know what I'm saying? That metadata.
I ain't expect all this coming from you today.
No, you could tell he's smart.
Yeah, he ready for this.
In the womb, you
That's
catch
what I
everything.
like.
I didn't know y'all was gonna go there.
No, we go in.
Yeah,
Because this is business. This is giving them the business.
This is the business.
This is the
You're absolutely
business.
correct, man.
And that's what this podcast was created for, not just music. People think it's just music. No, I do.
That's what I thought.
No, I do a lot more.
You have
than
an
that,
interesting story with a lot of
do.
pain and struggle, right? And then we try to put that on because this is what it's all about. You know, life is not easy. It's worth it, but it's not going to be easy. When someone you can say, "Look, I've been through all this, and today, even in today, I continue to strive to grow." People need to see that, right? Like we're not perfect. We're gonna make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? But I'm pretty sure the man you are today, you can look in the mirror and be proud of who you've become, right? Compared to all your trials and tribulations and trying to control that monster you got inside of you.
How old were you when you came from that? In that era you're talking, so we kind of put it in perspective.
When that, I must have been 6 years old. My uncle was
when you're going to visit him with that.
I must have been
with
6.
that fake money.
Yeah, with the
money.
Yeah, the money.
Yeah,
Because I
How
thought
long
money
did
was
it
fake
take you
anyway.
to draw that? Day or two, maybe?
Man, well, my big brother, he was very skilled and gifted.
right.
So my big brother's deaf.
Okay.
So I had to communicate with him. I was his
Okay.
primary communication.
So y'all worked on
agent.
the project together.
We worked on it together. You know,
That's fire.
I had the idea. He was brilliant. I had the idea, and he could execute with his hands. I didn't have.
How did that feel when you did that? Took it to you know, how was that feeling?
Man, you know, it activated all those hormones, the cortisol, the testosteronic aspect of being a caretaker.
You're using a lot of big words here, by the way.
You know, it's just it's really.
We always do this when we're on the road. Like, yo, that's a big word.
big word.
We good though.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
Yeah, so it activate all those things inside
Sure.
you. You know, and you know also the adrenaline that you have. You know, that you have this aspect of yourself that you see in the future. We always chasing that other vision of ourselves. We always chasing that concept of tomorrow, the better me tomorrow.
You have to have a vision of
You have to
yourself.
have that.
Yes.
And so I was feeling like a provider and a caretaker.
Yeah.
You know, even though I'm a little guy
At
in the
6.
family
Well,
at
that's
6 years
deep.
old,
That's deep.
I was feeling like
That's
that because
deep.
all them chemicals still was
So
afoot.
do you think that triggered a lot?
A lot.
Ah, Jay.
A lot.
Yeah.
It could be one of the reasons you have become who you are. I mean, that moment saying,
I'm
look
100%.
at that.
I'm sure of it just because when I asked him, I said, started off. He
He remembered vividly.
the recall is right
Yes.
there. It's- And so it's like in his head, it's clear as day. I tell people there's certain times in my life that I can never forget. It doesn't matter. I tell my mother especially because she's 89 and she said, how do you remember that? I said, it's funny because Denzel Washington said it in American Gangster with his mother and he said, how could I forget? And that's real. And I said that to my mother just recently and shit. I was like, how could I forget?
Come on.
You know, my mom's, you know, she's everything.
Yeah.
And there were certain struggles that I watched her, like you're saying, go through, you know. And it's like, how could I forget? You know what I mean? So I'm clear, I'm sure when you said that, that recall is right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, I love to hear you say that about your mother because my mother was my oppressor.
Mm.
You know, in the household, you know, my father, I think he would have fucked with me, but his wife, my mother, didn't love me.
Wow.
And she was overt about her lack of love for me. And she was demonstrative in that act and would let me know and let everybody else know that she don't fuck with Malik. And I mean, she had her own reasons.
Of course.
You know?
You know, that's, you know, another part of parenting that I realized that probably got swept under the rug is you just said you were 6 years old and you understood caretaking. We don't look at our kids in the idea of them being able to understand when they can. You just have to explain it to them maybe a little slower. Maybe you can't use the bigger words, right? You got to explain it to them where they can understand. But I really did that with my kids. I got two kids, right? My son and my daughter, and 2 baby mothers. And
Oh, wow. Okay.
the reason that's so important is because I had to explain to them why I'm not home all the time. And I did. And I kept telling them when they was little, you're going to understand it when you get older. I said, but daddy's right here. Whenever you need me out here, I don't care if I said, well, whatever I'm doing is for you. I said, it's not for me.
Come on, man.
Whatever I'm doing is for you. To this day, my son is 33, my daughter's 22. They understand that completely. Because when I'm not there, they speaking to the mother. Maybe the mother didn't have the best words for me. You understand? But I made sure I had that relationship and made sure they understood I was present every which way I can, no matter what. And they can never take. They understand it now as they got older, because just like we can't forget, they can't forget.
They can't forget either.
You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna forget. They're gonna remember that. They're gonna remember those things I said to them, and they do. They always remind me and tell me. So for me, I love that because I made sure I did that young, when they was young.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I'm gonna keep talking to you, and we would have deep conversations. Even my daughter, like, she's a monster because I want to make sure she know about men and understood, you know, all about life and how men move and act in the way that. And I said, you got a lot of uncles. Don't you worry about nothing. Even if I'm there, your uncles might be there. You just didn't meet them, but they'll be there.
Yeah.
And she and now she's older. She would always see people and coming up to me and always be like, did you know that person? I said, nah, I don't really know them. I would tell them they just showing respect. I did something for someone that they knew or something like that, and it comes back. And that all that love that I really passed out come really back tenfold. It really do. I helped in so many people, and she would be with me as a little girl. I would take her to all the fights. Come with me. Make sure I'll have her in all my meetings. How about that? Yeah. All my executive meetings, I said, take notes. If she knew how to write, take notes. So she could hear like all the things going on. And then when we leave, I said, either ask questions when you're there or ask questions afterwards. And I mean, she's really a beast. Like, my son's a monster. Like, that's what I did with them. Yeah. And I said, if parents understood that, again, I hate hearing, like you said, your mother's your oppressor. Like, I'm from a blessed family. My mother and father was together 60 plus years. My father passed. I told you earlier that was my hero. Yes, sir. I said, we didn't have, that was my hero. My pops is my hero, you understand? If I was to get a tat, it might be him. I don't have no marks on my body except stabs and gun wounds and shit. But if I did, it would probably be my pops. I'd probably get a tattoo of my pops, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that was my hero. And I'm blessed because I had that. We didn't have no money. Yeah. We had love. That's it. And we had a lot of love. It's 8 of us. We had a lot of love, and all the brothers and sisters took care of each other. So we all grew up under that kind of tutelage. And it started from my mother, not from my father. But he was smart enough to let her do what she do.
Let her get out.
That's right. She's the one that did it. So again, 89 years strong. You know what I'm saying? Young 89. If there's anything called a young 89, she's planning her 90th birthday right now.
Of course it is.
Shout out Nene, you heard?
Yeah, there's
she got beef with Lil Wayne because her nickname is Weezy.
Oh, no. That's crazy.
She said, I'm the only Weezy out here. Weezy. How did he get that name? Like, take it easy, Weezy.
Take it easy, Weezy. Yeah, there's 3 ages, man. There's 3 ages. Yeah. And the least important is your chronological age, how many times you've been around the sun. It's not that important. Then the second in the level of importance is your biological age. How young do you feel? How much water do you drink? How much exercise do you get? That's biological age. But the most important is psychological age. How do you feel? How do you think?
I'm 25 mentally.
That's what I'm saying. Mentally,
I'm 25.
LeBron said, I'm still an 18-year-old kid. He's 37. 38. He just made 38.
38. Just turned 38. Shout out Bron.
Yeah, shout out Bron. Yeah. Shout out Bron for sure.
For sure.
You know, and what he's doing is like an 18-year-old. He's mobbing up with his guys, but he's doing something creative. Yeah. He's doing something helpful, uplifting, and constructive in the community.
It's so crazy you say that because I say that all the time. I just didn't put it the way you did it. You probably say it better than I do. I just say that mentally I'm 25. Physically I feel I'm 55. Yeah, I said I don't feel like, I don't know what a 55 feel like, but I know I feel older than 25. Yeah. I know when I was 25, I had no pains, nothing. I wake up with little aches here and there, got to work it out. But mentally, I'm 25. Everyone that know me, I don't sleep. I'm going 24/7. Anyone with me, they can't keep up. The young boys can't keep up. Not to mention them other ones.
Yeah. I knew you was going to add that in there. You wow.
It's all good.
You wow. I knew you was going to add that.
Shout out to my lady friends.
I knew you was going to add that in there. You wow. I knew you was. That's insane.
Yeah, but it's real, though. It's like, but it's a mindset. Mentally, as you said, is the most important. And I tell all my friends that it's like, don't get old. Don't start telling everyone you old, because that's a mindset. That's mental. Nah.
Don't do it. Don't do that at all. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you say your dad was your hero. For me, all of my life, my dad was my hero until he decided not to be. You know what I'm saying? It was a decision, because he was in love with his wife. And this dude named John Pickett told me, he said, your mom was the prettiest bitch in the projects. Your father was defenseless. So, it was lack of his relationship with his mother and putting his stock into her. I would never let my wife, nor would she ever want to, just to let that be known, do what my mother did to me, to my children. Never. Right. There's no possible way.
Wow. So that was his kryptonite.
Yeah.
Your mother was his kryptonite.
Yeah. She, if you look at my TED Talk, I talk about when she took all the skin off the back of my hand with an iron when I was 6 years old. Just removed it. This hand been broke 8 times in fights.
I was gonna say you broke that
you missed some few knuckles.
Oh yeah, missed some knuckles.
Yeah, I mean,
but then this still
it's still a hammer. That's when you hit the hammer. The skull. That's the skull.
Yeah, that's
you can't catch it from the.
Yeah, that's
you don't even feel the hand no more.
Yeah. Nah, you don't feel it no more. But for me, like growing up, like I said, caretaker. You said your family took care of each other. I took care of my brothers and sisters. I was the caretaker. More than that, I was a servant and almost a slave to them. Whatever they wanted, I gave to them. And they couldn't.
I'm very similar.
They had no reciprocity. They couldn't give back to me because their mother didn't love me, and that was overt. Their father didn't love me, and that was maybe more subversive, but he didn't have a heart for me. You feel me? And we had a discussion about it.
But around what age did that start out? Because you say 6, you start to visit, but you already, let me just get this straight. If your mom put an iron, you were kind of getting abused a little bit physically.
Oh yeah, ever since I've known my mother, I've been getting abused. Far back I can remember knowing her, she was abusing me and saying mean things to me. Are you the only child, or she had this?
Nah. Are you the only one that got abused like that?
Only one.
If I'm not mistaken, it's like 65% of every human being is abused. The numbers are staggering, man.
No, damn, that makes so much sense though.
Yeah. The number is staggering. It's almost like 7 out of 10. Almost 7 out of 10 people who's been abused.
That's a lot.
Physically abused.
That makes sense.
It's crazy.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
That's
why I said I'm blessed.
Blessed.
Even to go even further, my mother's side of her family, she wouldn't let us get around. She was afraid.
For fear of that.
For fear of that. But she had 5 daughters. I got 5 sisters. So she didn't want no one touching them.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I got a crazy stuff we'll talk off air with Bill Cosby and my pops.
Oh, man.
We knew Cosby early days when the Cosby show. But we'll talk about it off air.
Y'all knew him? You knew
very well. Yeah, we go to the show, go fuck with the nigga. He knew, because one of my sisters was a model.
Oh.
But this is because one day he announced it on it. While we at the show, these his daughters. I had 5 sisters, you know what I'm saying? And they all stood up, and these are my daughters. My pops let him have it. Let him have it. Because, he's like, someone might want to kidnap him or something.
Right.
They think they your daughters. Those my girls. That ain't yours. Bill was like, oh, man, I'm sorry I ever said that. My pops was on his ass. But it was crazy. It was a crazy time right there at that moment. Yeah.
Very delicate.
Very delicate, because my pops wasn't playing no games.
Yeah, nah.
And I understand it. Like, I'm young, but once I see my pops get mad, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
That's the type of, you see your hero getting going, you like, it's no other choice. You're going to die right there. So whatever it is.
Yeah, that's the hill. You're going to pick the hill to down.
Yeah, that's the hill we going to choose right there. So at the end of the day, it was crazy, but, everything worked out. But it was a crazy time right there. But yeah, we definitely knew Bill Cosby. Very well.
Crazy.
Very well. You know what I'm saying?
I'm real close with the kid that played Theo Huxtable. His name is Malcolm Jamal Warner.
I know Malcolm because we was at the show.
Right. Yeah.
Every day. I knew all of them.
He from Chicago.
Yeah.
He's a poet too, like myself.
Yeah, he's a good kid.
Yeah, that's my man. I really love that dude.
He's solid.
You know what I'm saying? He told me stories about him growing up in L.A. with his mom and then being in Chicago with his father in the summer times, you know, and reading the books and stuff like that, you know. So yeah.
So let's go further. Let's get into some of the music accolades and how it started in music. You said you didn't think we was just a podcast like this, that it was just music, but we do everything. It's not just music.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, we give you the business on all
we give you
fronts.
This is the man-woman conversation, you know. In this day and age, people might frown upon using those terms as male-female, but that is, you know, I'm speaking from a heteronormative standpoint, you know, when I speak, you know, not to exclude anybody else, but I'm directly talking to people.
Man,
you know?
Dinero know where I'm going. It's
right. That which understood need not be explained.
Right is right, wrong is wrong. You're not saying nothing wrong if you said male, females. That's it. That's what we are. I'm not wavering on that. And I'm sorry if I don't want to offend nobody.
Yeah, no.
I'm not trying to.
It's not exclusionary for anybody else.
I'm not trying to. But you know, it's what it is.
I think we're in a day and age where a lot of people too fucking
very
sensitive.
Well, that's what they want.
We from a different era,
and,
so
and
we have to
there's some
respect
generalization here too, because there's some people that's intersex. They born, you know, with
both.
Yeah, so
both genitals.
So we're going in generalization, which is what humans need to. We have a desire to be.
Okay, so
in
I
the
say
generalization
something.
space.
I say something when I speak about any business. I'm always talking from the large number of things.
No question.
Okay, so when we say male, female, that's the large number. The ones that are born with those both things or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a clinical doctor to tell you the exact what it's called. Again, that's still part of a small group compared to all the world of men and women, right? That's all I'm saying, and that's how I talk. I'm not trying to exclude anyone. I have empathy for whatever their situations are, because most of it's mental. A lot of it's maybe they was abused, maybe it was this. It could be so many things.
A lot of contributing factors.
Exactly. Thank you. And I can't speak on that because I didn't see them. I don't know how they was brought up, raised, or anything. But I deal with all walks of life. So at the end of the day, it's
you're in an industry where it's all walks of life at. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
This industry, it take everything. You know what I'm saying?
It's a lot of people scarred in this industry.
I'm scarred.
In the game of life. We all are.
We all
are.
You ain't leaving this earth unscathed, man.
We kind of got away. We left, but when I listen to the childhood and we all go through stuff, those are things that either make you or break you. And it looks like whatever trauma and things you went through at an early age actually made you. Even though you're always I'm pretty sure you're an outstanding dad. I'm pretty sure you made a promise early. I will never, ever, ever. Right? So sometimes you have to go through certain things to end up being that leader. That you understand? I haven't met a person who's not a leader that didn't go through some shit. Whether it's time, abuse. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever it is, you know, three things are always gonna hit you. And your father is a signal that's called obewenye. Obewenye goes like this: look to the left, bad things are coming. Look to the right, good things are coming. So stay focused. Right? So keep going because shit is coming regardless. Right? We could be great today. You could sign $1 million deal tomorrow, and on Friday some shit happens. Whether it's to ourselves or our family members.
100 million.
Yeah, well, you know,
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
talking numbers. But what I mean is that at the end of the day, we all have this journey, and it comes down to we're all trying to go somewhere. We're all. You know, I tell Chris all the time, happiness is a choice, you know, that you have to make. I've never been in a relationship or anything, and I try to tell my kids that, and I tell them that. I said, listen, the probability of someone loving you more than me is rare. Any man, your boys or whatever. So, I hope that you find love. Like, I hope that person but being happy should be, don't ever put that in someone's basket. Don't ever tell your girl, oh, you don't make me happy, because that's not what we're about. Your job is to get up every day and be grateful for the good times, the bad times, like that part of life. You're going to get up. Some days you don't want to get up. Some days you don't want to go to the gym. Some days you don't want, you know, but that's that journey, right? And we all have something that we've been through in our life. So that's
when it counts the most.
Yeah.
The times when you don't want to do it. That's when it's most important for the brain to experience and you pushing forward, because then understand that this person going to push forward anyway, so let me assist it.
That mental tough.
Yeah, no question. No question.
So with the music side, where did you begin in the music side?
From ethereal standpoint, like inside me, it was always there.
Right.
You know, when I learned how to read, I wanted to read everything I could see.
Mm.
When I figured out how to read, and I'll tell you a very interesting story. My mother and father used to argue all the time. They were oil and water for real. And I think the oil got the better of my father, which was the water. And it got the better of him, especially as it pertains to me and his relationship, which pretty much didn't exist. And they were arguing one day, and we were going to the store. My mama couldn't drive. She didn't have a job, nothing. She was the typical person that you don't want to be around.
Mm.
But my father, he loved her. He was in love, because of several things with his mom and lack of love and so on and so forth. He was a cold nigga, though. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Martial arts. He hooped. He was a sportsman, hard worker, very intelligent, handsome guy. But they were arguing one day, and me and my brother were in the back of this. We had this window van that we would drive around in. It's like a church bus almost. And me and my brother would be allowed to sit in the back. Back in the days, you ain't had to always have a seatbelt on.
Right, yeah, they didn't
We in
enforce
the
that.
back
Good
of the
old
van.
days.
They didn't enforce all that.
Good old days. We'd have been dead if that would have had an accident, but
Let me die the way I want it.
right? Let me die my choosing.
Yeah.
So they arguing, and I'm in the back, and I'm like reading signs, and it's like I see one that said yield. I said, why yield? Oh, okay. It said road closed. Road closed. My brother, he deaf, so he not hearing what I'm saying.
Oh my God.
And then I said, bridge out. Bridge out. And my father like, oh, wait, and slowed down because he had blew past all the signs.
Oh my goodness.
And we was going to go off the bridge.
Oh man.
And in the dusk, nighttime, he arguing with my mother.
We're not paying attention.
Not paying attention, arguing with her. And she in his ass because that's what she did.
Right.
Wow.
She found a problem with everything he did, everything that was him.
That's a movie. You just made me visualize a movie. That's a movie
Yeah,
scene.
like the retarded kid is reading and was able to snap in
He
just at
saved
the
him.
time. Yeah. He's like, whoa. And he never said thank you or anything like that. We brought it up from time to time, but it was just part of the thing. So I remember just being able to read, and once I was able to read, everything was a melody to me. Anything, so it's hard in school because everything I'm reading is having melody and sounds to it, and I'm like, do any other kids hear this too?
It's a calling.
Man, for
gift.
sure, it's a gift. Because I didn't work hard to be able to make all these hit songs and shit.
Yeah.
And make these melodies. I can't sing at all.
Right.
Nor play an instrument or anything like that. But I can make these motherfucking songs. And working with Common, then working with Carl Thomas,
Yeah.
and then working Kanye and John
I was
Legend.
just with Carl in Miami not too long
man,
ago.
tell him
Great dude.
tell him to get his gloves together so next time I see him.
Yeah.
Like, when I see him. I love Carl, man. I take care of everybody though. That's my nature. Anybody's ever been around me, they get taken care of very well. You know what I'm saying?
So run through some of your discography.
Oh shit.
Just some so the public, the audience understands who we really talking to from a music standpoint.
Man. Shit. 808 and Heartbreaks. I think 9 songs on there. Probably really like 12 or whatever.
As a writer or producer?
Writer and producer.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah, let them know. Talk.
808, but really, the first 3 albums too.
Yeah.
College Dropout, Late Registration, and Graduation. I'm uncredited, even though that's my voice on crack music. I'm doing the poetry on crack music, but my name's not on there.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know what publishing was, working with Common, working with Erykah Badu, and, I didn't know I was writing songs.
Right.
Lauren Hill called me a songwriter, but I was like, what? I ain't no songwriter.
You didn't even understand.
I do poetry. So you should do an album, like a poetry album. Who's going to listen to that?
Right.
Because when I first got into poetry,
spoken word,
I didn't even know what that was called.
Yeah.
And the OGs in my neighborhood, big homies, DOG and them, they was like, man, what happened to make you turn gay? And I was like, what? They're like, we heard you do. I was like kind of closeted with the poetry. And they was like, what made you turn gay, Mo?
Oh, man.
I'm going to poetry clubs, and they weren't trying to clown me. They was really.
That was the mindset.
They was really like, man, Mo, what happened? man, we never would have thought Malik could be gay. That's what I'm like, gay, nigga, what the fuck you talking about? They're like, because they idea of poetry club was like, weird niggas and weird bitches and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Like, they didn't get it.
They didn't get it. And they thought, oh, to be in that space, you must be one of them, you know?
Let me hear the poem that you wrote to them. I know you wrote one to let the record straight for them. I know you wrote one for that specific
that was the one
situation.
That was the one I did on HBO. I
See
spit.
That? I'm telling you,
I
know he had to.
I spit for this. I'm not spitting for the people that's already, you know, I'm not like Jesus didn't come to save the holy. Mm-hmm. If you was all good already, he wasn't even hollering at you.
He don't need you.
He ain't had no conversation for you. You was all good going over there. I'm talking to these motherfuckers over here that's got this shit twisted around, that's letting these motherfuckers rule them and letting these Romans push them all around and shit. That's what Jesus was talking to.
Yeah.
He wasn't talking to the motherfuckers that's all good. And nah, man, for what? That's a waste. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was on. I wasn't doing poetry for the poets, so they ain't really fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? When I did my poem off Carl Thomas album, the one I said, but I'm saying, here I am, say lying and praying that I'm saying something hot. Cause baby, it's cold outside, and even when it's not, it still is. Daily shorties ask me what the deal is, but I don't know what they talking about like Will is. When I did that poem on that album, Puff was like, man, that's a little bit harsh because I was cussing and shit, but Puff let it ride though.
Yeah.
Because I was talking about selling. I said, I knew my best friend was meddling, but I continued peddling, but I got arrested before I got rich, trying to make some scratch like trigger fingers that itch. Trying to be on point, but the Matrix had a major glitch. She told me she'd call me an ambulance if I ever called her a bitch.
Yeah.
And that was the first time an R&B record had the word bitch on them. And Puff let it ride though.
Yeah.
You know, Big Bro let it ride. I ain't gonna front.
Yeah.
I gotta give him pub on that shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, I gotta give him the love on that
Brother
shit.
Love, he let it go.
Love,
huh?
He let it go.
That's
I had one that was worse than that though earlier.
Yeah.
That was more street. He was like, nah, that's too street. With Carl Thomas.
But so you doing poetry like that, and niggas back in the hood was still acting like you on the other side.
Well, they wasn't listening to the poetry.
Oh, okay.
They ain't hear the poetry. They just heard I was going to poetry clubs, and they mind state, you know.
Like what's that?
It's a bunch of motherfuckers.
Who's doing that?
Yeah, you know. So they were like, man, motherfuckers with sandals on and shit. That's what they see in their mind. You feel me? You know, on my mama, motherfuckers was not having the right ideology of it. Yeah. I'm like, no, I'm still us, bro. I'm still.
But when you was
BPS.
getting them checks, they understood that.
When the checks came, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, by the time the checks came, you know, I was already out the hood.
You wasn't around them anyway.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. You know, I took care of them. Them my OGs. You know, them my big brothers, the ancient stones, or whatever. But I took care of them too. I took care of everybody around me. I take care of everybody around me. That's my nature.
That's what's up.
And you know, but it's hard for people to reciprocate. It's hard for the giver to be loved.
That's deep. Hey, it's lonely.
Yeah, he'll always be used.
He'll
always be used.
I'm telling you, hey,
he'll always be used, but he'll seldom be loved because it's almost like it's almost
nobody asks you, are you okay?
Exactly. Nobody can give you back that concern. Nobody can say they gotta believe that you okay. Because in order for them to take from you, they gotta believe that you all set. They gotta believe that even though you go to bed after them and wake up before them.
Facts.
You feel me?
Facts.
You know, they gotta believe that you straight. And that's part of the problem why they can't really love you. They can't see a way to nurture you.
Well, part of the problem is we're probably just selfish.
That's the whole thing.
And you're not.
Because in survival mode, you are selfish.
Yeah, but when they're not, their survival mode is false.
No, exactly.
It's only in their mind.
It's only for, and
it's in
individual.
their mind.
It's individualized. My survival mode is group survival.
You know, there's so many Instagram quotes that they go around, and I know people think it's cheesy, but to be real, it's like, you know, the scenario of someone asking for money and you gave them your last dollar, but you know what I'm saying? They don't realize it's your last dollar. I mean, I don't know how many times I did that. And people don't understand. As much as I might be fucked up and I seen them need something, I did it. You know what I'm saying? I always say I need a Chris Gotti for Chris Gotti. You know what I'm saying? You need a Malik for Malik.
Where's a Malik for me? But that's what the universe is.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna tell y'all a crazy story, right? Check this out. There was this one day it was a blind woman, and she had this man who deeply loved her. He was everything to her. He picked her up. He took her to places, showed her things, you know, with her hands. Let her understand what kind of dog it was, explained everything to her.
Right.
And he loved her deeply. Loved her deeply. And she was crying one day. He said, "What's wrong, my love?" She said, "Man, it's like, oh, this is beautiful, but I really just wish I could see. If I could see the world, then I'd truly be happy. I know I'm not like everybody else. I know that I'm not. And I know that you love me anyway. But if I could just see the world." So one day, she got a call from some doctors. They said, "Hey, you know what? Little sister, we're going to bring you down to the hospital and we're going to give you the gift of sight. We're going to give you the gift of sight. You have a donor for your eyes." And
Wow.
so she told dude, and he was happy for her, took her down there to the hospital. And when she woke up, after she took off the bandages, she could see. And she saw real colors and flowers that he had gave her his name on them. And then when she said, "I want to see my boyfriend. I got to see him."
Uh-oh.
So when she saw him, she noticed something. She noticed he was blind. She said, "Oh, baby." So she tried to stick with him a couple days. He said, "I can't travel the world with a blind man."
Wow.
He said, "Baby," "well, I hope you enjoy traveling the world with your eyes. I hope you see, this is how and when you look in the mirror, you see how I always saw you. Because now you have my eyes."
He gave it
He gave his eyes to her.
Mm.
And people don't understand when they ask us for something, we give them everything of us.
everything.
And we deal with the consequences of it. We deal with the blindness. We deal with the darkness of how we got to come through this valley.
Yeah.
So they can see their way through it.
Correct.
So that's how it be sometimes.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
So it's hard for the giver to be loved because he look ugly.
You're gonna do a lot more than just what you're doing now. I'm telling you, man. You powerful, bro.
Thank you, brother.
You got a lot.
You paved the way, though. You know what I'm saying? You paved the way.
Man, we just fighting the same fight. A lot of these things I'm hearing you talk about, I'm engulfed in it.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
You know, so I'm from New York doing it. You from Chicago doing it now. We move around like we're here in Vegas right now, but it don't matter. End of the day, that fight is the same fight all over. Wherever we go, we take it with us. We walk with it. You can't change it.
It's all on us. It's all in us, man. It's like, yeah.
It's a nonstop journey.
Yeah.
Not a destination. It's just a journey. Nonstop.
Yeah. I love that saying too.
Yeah.
It's the journey. It took me a long time to
understand
really,
it.
to really absorb what that means.
I mean, the game of life, it's a journey. It's an entire journey with levels, with ups, with downs. You have 365 days in a year, and we could say, Chris and I, and proud of yourselves because of extended family. I would say out of 365 days, I have 65 good days. I celebrate birthdays. Where this is a great day. I flew into Vegas to come do these interviews.
Yeah, he flew in too.
Oh man,
from New York.
Oh man, blessings. Thank you, brother.
So out of those 365, we take away 65 good days. You have 300 days left. Out of those 300, I'll have 30 bad days. Bad news, money loss, lose a friend, someone turns out. You know what I'm saying? Things that are, and then you eliminate. You got 270 just regular days. Routine. You get up, go to the gym, watch TV, right? So celebrate when you have those 65 good days in life. Celebrate. Celebrate your birthday. Have a great time. So you have those bad, and guess why I tell you to celebrate? Because that one of those 30 bad days is coming. Right? So celebrate. When you have a bad day, it's all right. Okay, you're going to feel it. Good days are coming.
Yeah.
And life is usually those 270 regular.
Yes, sir.
Doing
what you do.
Do what you do.
What
Yeah.
you do to get
the mundane, the ordained, the ordinary things. But it's great. What we do that's regular is great to other people.
That's right.
Of course. But that's what makes us who within that
Yeah.
routine is what makes us who we are, and understanding that life is really about moments. This moment right now is all that matters.
Yeah. So you go through all of these things from, again, you're a gang member. Coming up to Chicago, I think everybody seems like
you got to be mobbed up.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's not.
You know what I'm saying?
That ain't.
And everybody's out there, but at the end of the day, you have to navigate through all those things as well, and then dealing with the business side of the music that you now usually partake in. How does the gang relationship and the music relationship or business go kind of hand in hand, in your opinion? How did it work for you, particularly? I really feel today, most of these artists is gang affiliated. I tell people today I could probably get a feature with the best artist from my man inside that's locked up. That's the OG that could talk to someone that's outside and get that feature easier than if I tried to just go and get that artist and get the feature. That's to me is why the gang affiliation is so real today. It's synonymous with this music right now. It's literally like hand in hand.
Yeah.
And we could go back again, even, you know, all these artists you may not have realized, but they did have someone next to them.
Oh, yes.
You know, so how did that work out with in your career? Like help, hurt, you know, what was the trials and tribulations of people realizing you're a gang member? And the gangs actually, was there any added demands on you because you're a member and now you're doing something outside of what normal, you know, that gang activity look like or feel like? How was that with you?
Yeah, it's been like most things. It's been a yin and a yang, a good and a bad, a sun and a moon to it. You feel me? And I think it's all like you said earlier. It's Babala said it's about how you move on it, how you stay focused on it. So being a Stone, you know, I'm the hopes of a lot of the Stones in Chicago.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They could point to me and say, that's one of the moles. When the brothers be in the penitentiary, they get to, you know, I still talk to a lot of brothers. I got the same phone number for 13 years.
I ain't changed mine for
me
so long.
Yeah, 13.
Longer than
almost
that,
14 years. I got rid of the other one because it was just too much nonsense on there.
And I say because
federal shit and all
niggas is
that.
inside.
Yeah,
so.
niggas is inside.
So
they gotta be able to reach me.
Only way they could get you.
I gotta be able to reach me. They say when they go tell, yeah, I told motherfucker that's you, my man. Cause I do film and stuff like that, you know, but I still carry this demonstration to the fullest, BPS
Understood.
to the fullest. You drawing?
Yeah.
So they see me on Gangland or see me in a documentary, and they get to tell they men that they in the penitentiary with. That's one of my guys.
Got you.
You know, and it's that come with a cost. That come with putting money on the books, answering the phone, taking care of people that's out here on the street for them. You feel me?
It hurt business too.
And that is, boy. That's
it
what I'm
hurt
trying to tell
business
you.
too.
That people don't want.
See, they don't understand the plight we walk because that is really, you know, it's funny. I was on the phone with my brother just the other day. Irv and shit. Shout out Irv, you know what I'm saying?
Shout out Irv.
You know what I'm saying? And we was on the phone talking and I was explaining to him the walk I have to walk behind his success. He never hear that. Like, and this is a little brother, so he's his baby at 8, you know what I'm saying? Everybody took care of him. No one took care of him more than me. But my whole family took care of him. All my other brothers and sisters, he's a baby. He took care of him. So at the end of the day, what that is he never see what that is, taking care of something. And all of the things. And we talking about a lot of different energy coming at me all the time, constantly over him. And that is part of when you said they don't understand, like, I'm not a gang member. But I got a gang of motherfuckers. You know? I mean, from all over that fuck with me. You know, with Adventures, I would try to explain when I dealt with Adventures, we toured the country. So every city, I got people on the ground. I'm live in every city. It's a phone call away. But every city I go into, I got the homies right there. Boom, it's all good. It's all love. So that's pretty powerful. I just don't want to look at it from any other standpoint except for this is music. But I try to explain to him with, you know, what's that expression? To much is given, much is required.
Much is required.
All right. So because I'm dealing with so many, I got to answer to these people. When they ask for things or need help or this and that, he doesn't stand on those same things because he's not involved like that.
Yeah.
At least indirectly he is. You know what I'm saying?
But
Through
you
me.
carry the brunt of it,
But
though.
I carry that.
gotta
And that's
put
what
the
you
face.
was just explaining.
Yeah.
And I mean, I understand that to the fullest.
I carry the brunt of all those relationships. Like we talked about Lil Durk, who I love. You know what I'm saying? The day he got signed, I was with him the day he got signed to Def Jam.
Lil Durk.
Lil
He
Durk.
said 300 was them voodoo numbers.
Yeah.
Shout out Lil
Shout out
Durk.
Durk. You know,
man,
and them
I'm a
little
huge
brothers, man.
fan of Lil Durk.
I
man.
love that dude, and you know he don't owe me nothing. You know, when I was with him, he had just had his baby, who I call Lil Durk, and he was telling me Def Jam gave him 100, and I was like, bro, I know you want to go back to Chicago. You got people in your mind and your heart you want to take care of, but that 100 is not gonna last. Because I done had $1 million that didn't last.
Right.
No time.
Right.
You know
Gone.
what that is, gone. After you take care, you know, and it don't go in 20s and 30s. It go in 20 and 30,000s.
Yes.
10,000, 20,000, 30,000,
50s,
50,000,
100s,
100,000. Wire this, 65,000, 35.
College.
And it's gone.
Burials.
Mm-hmm. Prom,
All of
houses, cars,
Christmas.
everything. Hey, we need this. You know, 8,000 here early in the day, and then another 12,000 at the
Later
evening.
later that night.
And then that next day,
And the next day, exactly. You know,
It don't stop.
It don't
It's
stop.
not
And
stop.
it's crazy, you know, because I always talk my business with my, let's say street life. Let's say dudes that's locked up.
Mhm.
I always tell them I ain't never getting no money with you. That's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, but you always asking. I said, my phone is always on. I send you some bread.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell them, don't get it fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
See, I let them know that I know what I'm doing for you.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody could take advantage of me
Right.
or use me. I do it out of love.
Out of love, yeah. Not out
And
of
if
no
you don't
fear.
understand that,
Not out of
then
fear.
you don't
No,
need
sir.
to call me no more.
But I always tell Chris too that that's why we stay blessed. Doors stay open and opportunities keep coming our way. Because when you do things out of love
No question.
and you do things knowing the other person needs it, then God blesses you with strength, with health. You know what I'm saying? To be able to and
I love
that's
those
just-
two things you said: strength and health.
It's so
Very
And
important.
them right there,
That's everything.
that's the core.
That's everything.
You
That's-
said love, strength, health. That's
listen,
life.
that's-
And
that's-
you can get anything else you need if you got them three things.
You know,
That's right.
and one of the key healths too is when you say physical. Physical is important, but mental. So
Man.
I think we're dealing with so mental. You know, I wrote this book, and me and Chris, we go out and we speak to these kids, and a lot of these kids, we did 150 cities before COVID. We did 150 cities in 5 years,
Yeah.
and I'd sit in front of all these kids, and I
All inner
realized
cities.
they're all
Hoods.
masking. They're
Couldn't
all,
believe I'm pulling up.
and they're all masking. They all do rap. Obviously, they all do music. They perform. We see them, and when we get a chance to talk to them and kind of give them the game of intellectual property, we kind of break these words. And then afterwards, when we interact with them, well, you know, one of the things that inspired me is I realized that a majority of them, 99%, are masking their problems in their music. That's their outlet. But still, the music is there. So they go in the studio, they talk about whether it's anger, problems with mom, kid, whatever.
That's
but
their
when they leave the
therapy.
studio, they still got the problem.
Mm.
Right? And you start to realize that it's one thing to be able to use the hip hop as an outlet. So we start realizing all the mental health issues these young kids have
Yeah.
because of abuse, because of lack of love, because of
Mhm.
understanding these neighborhoods,
The
that they have,
environments.
the environment that you have to grow in. That you gotta, because you know, again, you might not want to get into no problems and just go to school, but you know you can't go through that block. You got to go along the round. If not, you know, so there's a lot of things that we deal
Come
with
on,
in the
man.
inner cities. And I think mental health, especially for us, those that are a little bit older and have been around the block, mental health is where it's really where it's at.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Understanding.
What I did when I started, I got into boxing. And with all these fighters and started managing fighters and everything. And I'm in all the cities, like in New York, I'm in Brownsville, I'm in Queens, with all of the hoods, you know, all the boxes. So what I did, I used to take them all out. And we just come to Vegas. Come to like a Floyd fight. I knew Floyd. Shout out Floyd Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? And we would go out to his fights. We go to the gyms first, let him talk to him, spar with it, whatever. Then we'd be at the fights ringside. They never seen none of this shit.
Mm-mm.
They never experienced none of this shit. And I would take, I'm not talking about like 2. I'm talking about 15, 20 kids. Put them in fucking the hotel, let them order whatever they want, sweets and all types of shit. They could get what they want, and I would let it run it up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And they never experienced it. And the reason I would do it is because I wanted them to see what legitimate money could do. Like, and the power of being in this music business and making business. And I could do that. And this ain't no street money. This is real money.
Mm-hmm.
It's my money.
Mm-hmm.
And I seen this
Clean
money.
It's
But
dry. No sweat on it. No
you know,
blood on it.
When we talk about all of these things, this is like what I would do when, you know, I want to create that. Because that was my biggest education, was when I got outside of the hood. When I left the block, is when I learned the most.
Yep.
And when I say, and that's New York, But imagine when I went overseas, it was even bigger, the education. And that's what it's about for me. It's like showing these kids that you could do this the right way. That opportunity, you just got to know how to put it together. I'm just like you. Shit, I 5 years in high school. I ain't going nowhere else. You know what I'm saying? So just at the end of the day, you know, 5 years in high school. That's true. It took me 5 years. I cut school. I wouldn't go to class.
Yeah, I just left them. I got out of there.
You know, but I finished high school because, you know, my mother.
Yes.
Wasn't not doing that.
Had to do that.
Had to do at least that. But I did it. And it wasn't.
Back then, high school was like college.
Yeah, but it wasn't even like
high school was like graduating college.
Yeah, it was.
And when I say 5 years of high school, it wasn't like I was dumb
or
anything like that.
That's
it was,
clear.
I didn't apply myself.
Of course not.
You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, all of these journeys is what made you. And I wanted them to see outside of the hood because most of these people think they in a bad environment. Here, you from Chicago, and I could guarantee you I could take you to other places in this world that's way worse.
I done been there, brother.
You understand? And that's what I want to let them see. And that's the education. When we all think our hood is crazy and it's bad, and I can show you what this life is like. And then it starts kind of eliminating, when you leave America, it starts eliminating that black, which is what really punishes us the most in America. So when you see that in other countries, I would tell my boys, like, shit, you leave here, black is exotic.
Exactly.
They on you.
Yes.
They didn't understand that.
They didn't understand it.
You know what I'm saying? And
I did the same thing, brother.
But you got to see it and experience it to know it. And that's one of my things that I love doing with these kids is taking them outside. You know, when I say kids, they could be 20.
Yeah, but still.
Mentally, they still kids. They haven't done nothing.
They ain't did nothing. I was at one of the malls, opened up an alternative school, bought a school and turned it into alternative high school for the youth that didn't do well in the public system. And he had introduced me. He's like, this is my man Malik Yusef, HBO, you know, award, this, that award. And in the front was this little sister sitting there with her arms crossed. And I started talking about some of the stuff we talking about now, like how I came up and this and Puffy that and, you know, Justin Bieber this or whatever. And she was sitting there and she started squirming. I said, sister, what's wrong? She's like, you a liar. I said, excuse me, sister? I'm like, no, I'm from the 12-8. She's like, I believe you from the 12-8, but you ain't did the stuff you talking about. I know you Malik from the 12-8. My brothers is all stones. You ain't never met Justin Bieber. Right. I said, baby, yeah, I did. I can
you
show
couldn't do that if you was a stone.
She said, right, she
can't believe that.
Because the men in her life, that's not the trajectory they're on. Her brothers and uncles, and she got up and left. And I said, hey, y'all, I gotta follow the sister. I'm sorry. I gotta go follow the sister. She went to the office like, I want to just go home. I just want to go. I just want to leave. Because she couldn't cognate.
Yeah, she
that somebody like her, that's like her, could go on to live a life like this.
That's right.
And it reminded me of my own blood brother. When I brought them into the clothing space with me, I did, worked with Carl Kanye and all this. And I told one of the dudes, he asked me, how much did I make as a rep? I'm having this, my company, Ground Zero. And I told him, off his brand alone, I made $70,000. My little brother was like, man, you ain't made no 70. Not understanding, I done spent $10,000 just to bring us to Vegas for the magic show. Yeah. Because his value of me was so low based on how my mother and father treated me. This is my own brother who took all over the world, put money in his pocket. But you got to understand, you cannot rise higher than you think.
That's right.
There's a saying in Fa says, the ears don't pass.
They don't. They don't.
Oreja no pasa la cabeza.
Yeah.
So if you ain't going to go past, this is where you back.
Right here. This what information that you accept. You can't go no higher than your thoughts.
That's it.
If you can't think about the moon, you can't go there.
You probably don't even think it exists.
Yeah, man.
So right, that's a perfect segue to go into. Tell me about these programs you're putting together now, moving forward.
Yes, sir. So I got several different programs I've always done. I had this one. We'll have this one called For Yourself program. It's about kids with learning challenges like myself and how we can apply ourselves to overcome those challenges. You're never going to be perfect. Nobody is, though.
That's right.
This might not make you the valedictorian, you know what I'm saying? but it will make you functional enough to experience your own self, to your own efficacy, to affect your own life. Had a program called Girls World, where just empowering and edifying young women, telling them, hey, you have autonomy over your body. That's in the hood, if you a cute girl, a nigga snatch you and you his. Oof. You might be 13 and you his. From then on. And you better not do nothing he don't like. You feel me?
Yeah, women got it rough, man.
They do.
They got it rough,
especially with these broken men, and everybody need healing. But most women, they need therapy because men didn't get it. Men didn't get the therapy, so they got to go get it, And we sit back and not have the therapy. We all need therapy, and not that some women don't play their hand. We're not talking about that. But like you said, you're talking in the large numbers.
That's right.
For the most part, I practice certain things when I go out late at night to the 7-Eleven to grab something, and I see a woman by herself. I play the back. I walk slower, let her walk in first.
So she don't feel that pressure.
Aisle. Exactly. Just so she won't have to experience, you said it, pressure. The constant pressure of oppression from somebody that look like me. Even though I'm not him, I can't say it ain't all men because it is a man. And he got other men around him that have enabled him to be this way, and nobody stopped him. Maybe he had the money, maybe he had the car, maybe he was the tough guy, but nobody stopped this motherfucker. Yeah. You feel me? And then he got to run into our daughters, and then something gonna happen to him. Yeah. Now his parents got to cry because they didn't do their job. You feel me?
Man, that's so real. That cycle is so real.
There you go.
That cycle is so real.
Yeah. No, it's sometimes, I just want to say this because I was discussing this with my godfather. Sometimes, you get it's in a person's destiny for you to take them.
Wow.
That's Ifa.
Yeah.
For some people that have had to go is that you were the person
that was supposed to take them out.
Here. I've always said that too.
And we're warriors of light, right? So a warrior of light, you might have to go through extreme measures to, knock out the darkness. So it wasn't something that was done. This was something you had to do. It was also malicious. Within your destiny. Yeah. I mean, it might have been, but it wasn't done with the intent to. It was like it was part of your destiny. You didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I tell a lot of people when they go through certain things or they do time for certain situations. I'm like, maybe it was in your destiny to handle that. Feel me? Sometimes that's how it works.
Man, I say once you get a track. That train, if that train say Texas, ain't nothing stopping that train from going to Texas unless that track disappear. And that track probably ain't gonna disappear. That train going to Texas. I don't care how bad you want to go to New York.
Yeah.
That motherfucking train said Texas. You could have a whole New York shit on.
From his mental, from a guy that says, when I jump on the train, I'm not stopping until I get to Texas.
That's right.
Very few people have it.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, they don't even jump on the train.
Right.
Because they don't think they can get to Texas.
They don't believe it. You gotta believe it.
So you're talking from a different mindset, right? Of belief and understanding that this the journey is gonna be the journey you've taken with adventures.
Yeah.
I always tell it's right. Like it's a journey. It's a journey, and most people don't.
They're not prepared for that.
Nah, because they're
it's highs and lows, so it's not all sweet.
It's not a destination. It's a nonstop journey.
That's the part. They think you're gonna come in this industry. And it's going to be all sweet. Everybody going to pour money on you and you're going to get your deal and you're going to be famous and you're going to fuck all these bad bitches and you're going to have all this money. You're going to pop bottles and shit. That's available. It was available for us. It's a possibility. It was available for us, but it ain't available for everybody.
That's right.
It's available for anybody, not everybody. And that's a difference.
The problem is they only see the prize. Like most people play football, they want to hold the Super Bowl trophy. They don't understand the work, the training
to
camp,
put in
to
get to hold that
coach
trophy.
Tells you you're not good enough and you get cut and you have to go. Like it's part of that grind and that struggle. People don't want. They don't want that. They don't want to sweat. They want the easy road. That's why people taking shortcuts, pulling licks, all this shit that's going on today. No one wants to build something from scratch.
1 million people at the parade, one person at the practice.
I'm stealing all your shit, Malik. It's over.
Nice.
This is gonna be mine now. You done lost it.
It's ours, bro.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. How many times, another thing, how many times we laughed in groups? And every time we cry by ourselves.
Shit.
Man, that's a rough one right there.
Yeah.
That's a rough one right
That
there.
was
Hey,
we laugh in groups, but we cry by ourselves.
ourselves.
Shit. So, okay, so we got that. Again, is there anything else that you want the audience to know about before we get up out of here?
I do want to say something that I always say, and it pertains to this business as
Of
well.
course.
If you don't handle your business, somebody will. That's the hardest shit I had to learn in this industry.
That's right.
If you don't handle your business, somebody else will.
That's right. This game was all built on rape and pillage.
Oh, no question.
So again, that goes right back to what you're saying about handling your business. It's you leaving it open for the raping. They coming and taking.
They coming and take it, man.
That's it.
If you don't handle it, they waiting for you not to. They waiting for you to get tired. They waiting for you to not believe in yourself. They waiting for you to pray.
Not give you your credits.
Boy, like I told you, I got like 4 Kanye albums I had no credit on.
That's crazy.
I'm getting it taken care of now. You know, me and him talking through it, but I got songs with my voice on it with no credit. Because we had another deal, me and bro, I'm gonna do this for you, we gonna make this happen. Oh, let's hustle this part. Don't get,
I work with someone named Phil Ivey. You know who that is?
Phil Ivey.
He's a poker player. Black dude. I've been managing him over 20 years.
Oh, wow.
That's why I'm in Vegas. For Phil. I never had a contract.
Yeah.
Never needed one. He's the only man I know. He told me when I first met him, and I was like, I want to manage you. He said, okay, and we worked it out. I said, I'm going to get a lawyer to get the contracts together. He said, I don't do contracts. I said, really? I don't want to do contracts either. That's what I told him. And he said, why he doesn't do contracts. He says, if I go play poker, he's like the biggest poker player, biggest gambler in the world. Like he's the best in the world.
Damn.
A brother from New Jersey just out here now. Again, shout out Phil Ivey.
Shout out Phil Ivey.
So at the end of the day, he said, I don't do contracts. And he said, let me explain. He said, if I got to go play in $1 million game, I ain't got $1 million in my pocket. I ain't got $5 million in my pocket. I don't got $10 million. They got to know my word is real. If I'm going to lose the money, I'm going to pay, and vice versa. He said, and that's how I live. I said, I live the same way, but usually the fuck people I deal with, I got to get a piece of paper. So I said, I believe you. I don't need no paper.
In the national championship this year again?
Yeah. So I said, I don't need no paper. The end of the day, he's never paid me less than what he told me from the first day I ever met him. Wow. Always paid me more than that. Far more than that. You know what I'm saying? He's like one of one. And I said, but I never need a contract. And then I always go back to like Don King. So Don King and I had a relationship where he asked me to start doing the music. This is when he was the biggest promoter in the game, in boxing. And he said that he wanted me to come in and do the music for all his fights and bring in artists and the talent. And I told him I didn't think it was a good idea. Because back then, you could see, just from boxing, you could see how far black wealth has grown. Go look at the ring sides right then and there. When Don King was there, it's all white faces. It's no brothers there, 1 or 2 here and there. That's it. Because we couldn't afford those seats.
Man.
We was dealing with bootleg cable, watching it on pay-per-view. Everyone at the barbershop watching it at pay-per-view or at someone's house watching it. That's how we got to see those fights. And I explained that to Don. I said, I don't think them older white men that you have in that ringside is going to want to hear this hip-hop shit we do. And he said, man, I never thought about it like that. And he said, cool. I said, but Don, I want to ask you a question. He said, go ahead, young blood. And I said, why everyone think you a crook? He started laughing. We had a dinner table. He got his bib on and shit. And he started laughing. He said, you see this table with my lawyers? I said, yeah, they all work for me 24/7. He said, you might have a lawyer 24/7, but you're not like these fighters. These fighters have to hire their lawyer and pay them by the hour. Right? If there's a case. He said, and that gets very expensive. He said, but what I had to do is, he said, it's not that I break the contract. He said, maybe I guaranteed them $5 million when it really only worth $3 or $4. He said, so when I go get the fight and they sign with me, I go get the fight, I can't get $5 million. And I tell them, I only can get you 4. And they go, Don, I'm going to sue you. You don't come back with that, I'm going to sue you. No problem. I'm going to go get another fight for you. Come back. Hey, I got another fight for you. Only $3 million this time. Your value going down. No one's seeing you fight. He said, I really try to go get him the money. He said, it's not like I'm not. Don, you a crook. I'm going to sue you. He said, he come back, and now it's only 2.5. They take the deal.
After their value to have diminished.
I'm still not sure about that.
Me neither, Siri. So,
I'm not sure I understand.
So he plays the waiting game.
no, it's
No,
not
no,
that
he-
he plays
he
the
not
waiting
playing-
game. He would love to pay them the
They
$5.
devalue themselves.
They can't. They devalue themselves,
They haven't
and he
fought in
can't.
a
They're
minute.
not worth the money he signed them for. He said, but they got a piece of paper to say that I'm supposed to pay them. He said, but what are they gonna do? Sue me? They don't got the money to go to court. So that contract only represents one thing. It represents when a judge is in front. When you're in front of a judge, he's gonna tell you what that contract is worth. But when you do that deal, man, if you ain't on the other side with someone you trust, you never. No one is forced to pay you because you got a contract. They only forced to pay you when you go to court.
Period.
And the judge says pay them. That's the only time they legally really have to pay.
My boy Scott taught me that.
Okay,
I was trying to monetize my contracts with different clothing companies. I ain't gonna really say no names. Artist-backed clothing companies and stuff. And they like, Malik, thank you for bringing us to the Midwest, because I blew FUBU up.
Yeah.
And Dada. I blew FUBU, Dada, all them up in the Midwest, Chicago and other places. Carl Kanai, of course, too.
Yeah.
Shout out my big brother Carl Kanai. And I was like, man, he's like, man, I can get your company funded for you for about $40 million, and you just, have to parcel out the pieces. I was like, cool. We did all this, like a whole week of math and extrapolations. And he said, okay, one other question before we go get this $40 million and do this business. What makes them pay you? I said, well, I got a contract. He said, that's not what makes them pay you. A contract is not what makes them pay you. What do you have that makes them pay you? And I told him he was wrong, and these are my people, and guess what?
They didn't pay you.
They didn't pay me.
That's right. And then the only way you could get paid is with that contract. You got to have the money to fight.
Oh, even I had the money to go to court, and they was like, "Oh, that company don't exist no more."
Yeah, that's another part of the game that could happen. But really,
So I went to court. I'm real good with my lawyers.
Yeah.
So I've been a criminal most of my life. So I got a great relationship with lawyers.
They're like, this litigating is easy.
Yeah, it's like this is a litigious world. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I was in all the parts of it, the underground economy, and then black market and all the other parts. And they was like, "Nah, man,
wow.
you can't get paid from these guys. They company don't exist no more."
That's right, and that's what they do. They shell companies, they close them up. Next thing, you stuck, and there's nothing to get from
Nothing to get from them.
That's why you got to know who you get in business with.
That's why I'm so limited. People reach out to me all the time. Malik, I need your help. If I don't know you morally, I can't do business with you. This Pakistani dude, Muslim brother, told me, he said, I only do business with people I like. I don't care how much money they got. I only do business with people I like.
Very important, man. That's like another that people don't even realize how serious that is. And then that's why you see all these disgruntled artists and people with cases because they couldn't get their money.
Couldn't get their money, man.
They still not gonna get it.
And they still not gonna get it, bro.
Good luck. God bless.
Get it. But man, Malik, I appreciate this interview.
Man, I appreciate y'all, brother. So much,
thank
man.
you for
Thank y'all
pulling
so
up
much,
on
man.
us here, giving them the business. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to just sign out. Everybody that's listening, please like, share, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? We growing. Everything's going good. I appreciate everybody that's checking in with this podcast. We're going to keep giving you dope interviews like you just seen just now.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
You already know. Again, commend you for coming through, man.
Thank you,
Continue
brothers.
to grow as a man and as a leader. And I hope you live to see your grandkids.
Man,
Say
so,
that.
yes, sir. Yes,
You know,
sir.
that's a blessing.
That's
Yes,
the
sir.
blessing.
And we here, you know what I'm saying? Giving them the business.
Oh, for
Give
sure.
them the business. I love the name of it, too.
That's right. All right, now.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Thank you.
Wow, honey.
Boom.